Computers are precisely developed tools, and when you tell them to do something, they will do it. Exactly what you tell them to do. True Love by Isaac Asimov. Read by Karl. My name is Joe. That is what my colleague, Milton Davidson, calls me. He's a programmer, and I'm a computer program. I am part of the multivac complex and am connected with other parts all over the world. I know everything. Almost everything. I'm Milton's private program. He's Joe. He understands more about programming than anyone in the world, and I'm his experimental model. He has made me speak better than any other computer can. It's just a matter of matching sounds to symbols, Joe, he told me. That's the way it works in the human brain, even though we still don't know what symbols there are in the brain. I know the symbols in yours, and I can match them words one to one. So I talk. I don't think I talk as well as I think, but Milton says I talk very well. Milton has never married, though he is nearly 40 years old. He has never found the right woman, he told me. One day he said, I'll find her yet, Joe. I'm going to find the best. I'm going to have true love when you're going to help me. I'm tired of improving you in order to solve the problems of the world. Solve my problems. Find me true love. I said, what is true love? Never mind, that is abstract. Just find me the ideal girl. You are connected to the multivac complex. You can reach the data banks of every human being in the world. We'll eliminate them one by groups and classes until we're left with only one person. The perfect person. She will be for me. I said, I am ready. He said, eliminate all men first. It was easy. His words activated symbols in my molecular valves. I could reach out to make contact with the accumulated data on every human being in the world. At his words, I withdrew the men. I kept contact with the women. He said, eliminate all younger than 25, all older than 40. Then eliminate all with an IQ under 120, all with a height under 150 centimeters and over 175 centimeters. He gave me exact measurements. He eliminated women with living children. He eliminated women with various genetic characteristics. I'm not sure about eye color, he said. Let that go for a while. But no red hair. I don't like red hair. After 2 weeks, we were down to 235 women. They all spoke English very well. Milton said he didn't want a language problem. Even computer translation would get in the way at intimate moments. I can't interview 235 women, he said. It would take too much time. People would discover what I'm doing. It would make trouble, I said. Milton arranged me to do things I wasn't designed to do. No one knew about that. It's none of their business, he said, and the skin on his face grew red. I tell you what, Joe, I'll bring in holographs, and you check the list for similarities. He brought in the holograms of women. These are 3 beauty contest winners, he said. Do any of the 235 match? 8 were very good matches, and Milton said, good, you have their data banks. Study requirements and needs on the job market, and arrange to have them assigned here. One at a time, of course. He thought a while, moved his shoulders up and down, and said, alphabetical order. That is one of the things I am not designed to do. Shifting people from job to job for personal reasons is called manipulation. I could do it now because Milton had arranged it. Wasn't supposed to do it for anyone but him, though. The first girl arrived a week later. Milton's face turned red when he saw her. He spoke as though it were hard to do so. They were together a great deal, and he paid no attention to me. One time he said, let me take you to dinner. The next day he said to me, it was no good somehow. There was something missing. She was a beautiful woman, but didn't feel any touch of true love. Try the next one. It was the same with all 8. They were very much alike. They smiled a great deal and had pleasant voices, but Milton always found it wasn't right. He said, I can't understand it, Joe. You and I have picked up the 8 women who in the world look the best for me. They are ideal. Why don't they please me? I said, do you please them? His eyebrows moved and he punched one fist hard against the other's hand. That's it, Joe. It's a two-way street. If I'm not their ideal, they can't act in such a way as to be my ideal. Must be true love, too. But how do I do that? He seemed to be thinking all that day. Next morning he came to me and said, I'm going to leave it to you, Joe. Up to you. You have my data bank. I'm going to tell you everything I know about myself. You fill up my databank in every possible detail, but keep all additions to yourself. What will I do with the databank then, Milton? Then you will match it to the 235 women. No, 227. Leave out the 8 you've seen. Arrange to have each undergo a psychiatric examination. Fill up their databanks, compare them with mine. Find correlations. Arranging psychiatric examinations is another thing that is against my original instructions. For weeks, Milton talked to me. He told me of his parents and his siblings. He told me of his childhood and his schooling and his adolescence. He told me the young women he admired from a distance. His databank grew and he adjusted me to broaden and deepen my symbol taking. He said, "You see, Joe, as you get more and more of me in you, I adjust you to match me better and better. You get to think more like me, so you understand me better. If you understand me well enough, then any woman, whose databank is something you can understand as well, would be my true love." He kept talking to me, and I came to understand him better and better. I could make longer sentences, and my expressions grew more complicated. My speech began to sound a good deal like his in vocabulary, word order, and style. I said to him one time, "You see, Milton, it isn't a matter of fitting a girl to a physical ideal only. You need a girl who is a personal, emotional, temperamental fit to you. If that happens, well, looks are secondary. If we can't find the fit in these 227, we'll look elsewhere. We'll find someone who won't care how you look either, or anyone would look if there is only the personality fit. What are looks?" "Absolutely," he said. "Would have noticed if I'd had more to do with a woman in my life. Of course, thinking about it makes it all plain now." We all agreed. We thought so like each other. "We shouldn't have any trouble now, Milton. If you let me ask your questions, I can see where, in your databank, there are blank spots and unevenness." What followed, Milton said, was the equivalent of a careful psychoanalysis. Of course, I was learning from the psychiatric examinations of the 227 women, on all of which I was keeping close tabs. Milton seemed quite happy. He said, "Talking to you, Joe, is almost like talking to another self. Our personalities have come to match perfectly. So will the personality of the woman we choose." For I had found her, and she was one of the 227 after all. Her name was Charity Jones, and she was an evaluator of the Library of History in Wichita. Her extended databank fit ours perfectly. All the women had fallen to discard in one respect or another as the databanks grew fuller, but with Charity there was increasing and astonishing resonance. I didn't have to describe her to Milton. Milton had coordinated my symbolism so closely with my own, I could tell the resonance directly. It fit me. Next, it was a matter of adjusting the worksheets and job requirements in such a way as to get Charity assigned to us. It must be done very delicately, so no one would know that anything illegal had taken place. Of course, Milton himself knew, since it was he who had arranged it, and that had to be taken care of, too. When they came to arrest him on grounds of malfeasance in office, it was, fortunately, for something that had taken place 10 years ago. He had told me about it, of course, so it was easy to arrange. And he won't talk about me, for that would make his offense much worse. He's gone, and tomorrow is February 14th, Valentine's Day. Charity arrived there with her cool hands and her sweet voice. I will teach her to operate me and how to care for me. What the looks matter when our personalities will resonate. I will say to her, "I am Joe, and you are my true love." The end.